Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of
GETL.
My name is Hans
I'm Edward.
and we are your hosts for now and forevermore.
Unless one of us just packs our bag and get out of this country.
So much of me wants to just be like, yes, that is the goal, because we've spoken about that before. But really, what I was hoping it should actually be is the 10th time we're doing this recording, and we hope it works.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because happy thoughts. Yes, pack our bags, go abroad, enjoy ourselves, have a good holiday. We'll be fully vaxxed soon. Hey, Edward.
Yep.
Okay.
Like within the week.
Within the week. So, if you are new to GETL, welcome to what we think is one of the internet's premier locations for everything related to gaming, entertainment, technology, and lifestyle. News, reviews, previews, and excellent discussion amongst friends, all wrapped up in a wonderful, geeky
just pot of joy, I guess.
loop. Hey, Edward,
a geeky loop.
Because it never ends.
That's what it feels like now.
If you are new, welcome. If you're one of our regulars, sup. Yeah. Sorry, Edward and I are absolutely exhausted. We've recorded this opening about 10 times now over the last hour because we've just had endless issues. So I'm trying to keep the morale up, but I am struggling. We've literally sat here for an hour having done this over and over again. So here we are. I know it's not exactly the best opener for our new listeners, but if you are older listeners, you know we used to have many issues like this and most of them are resolved. But anyway, Eddie boy, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Just in pain. But
yeah,
that'll pass.
I will most likely end up doing a lot of talking this episode. If you're a long-time listener, you'll know that Edward does have a bit of a nerve issue, which has actually been generally under control, but he recently bumped his head quite badly, and it exacerbated the situation. So unfortunately, the poor man is struggling a little bit at the moment. And we always come to you week by week. We are committed to giving you delicious content.
Better appreciate bitches.
Yeah.
Gosh.
All right. From my side, a lot of stuff's happening personally. We don't feel like discussing it right now, so we'll just go straight into the question of the week. Edward, are you ready? And I hope you're going to pretend like you've never heard this before.
Yeah. I have no idea what you're speaking about.
For those of you who are listening, please listen to what we have to say in terms of the question. And give us your guttural reaction, whether it's via DM on Twitter or on YouTube or Instagram, wherever it might be. Let us know what your gut feel is to this question, which is as follows. How do you feel about the future right now? Are you excited, despondent, unenthused, nervous? How do you feel right now? Now, this could be answered multiple ways. Let's go with answering it from two perspectives. The first being a personal one. So how do you feel about your personal future? And the second part of it being, how do you feel about the future from a grander global scale?
Okay.
Like don't worry, we'll I'm sure this will lead into something great. So go ahead, Ed. Tell us.
Well, I live by a certain mantra, and that's basically low expectations won't won't make you disappointed, and that's how I get through life. Like I've always had.
So you, in other words, you have no expectations,
or
lowered expectations. So
therefore,
when something surpasses your expectations, you're happy.
Now that I think about it, I know one of the ongoing complaints that you always have as my editor is that I rate things very high. And I think this kind of goes into that because I don't hype myself up for many things, including the future. And as bleak as that might sound, I think it's a good way to live. Just take it one day at a time.
No,
Personally,
life is about disappointment.
it is, and I learned that very, very early on, and that's why I live the way I do. Personally, though, I have a few things coming up that will change my future in a grand scale, and I am kind of looking forward to that. The truth be told, on a global scale, I think it's bleak AF.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
I think shit's going down and I can't phrase it otherwise, you know?
Yes, Edward.
So yeah.
Okay, so
That's my way.
I do not abide to the way you approach
Yeah.
life, which I think is quite interesting. I don't necessarily overhype things, but I am definitely someone who does enjoy getting excited about things. All right. So when they don't live up to expectation, and of course, I'm not talking about unrealistic expectation.
Of course, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I won't get disappointed to the point of being depressed because I'm not like that. But I will verbally mention about, I will inform those around me of my displeasure of what is happening or why this is not working. So how do I feel about the future right now? From a personal perspective, I do feel excited. But weirdly enough, I'm also not hyping it. Okay, there are many things that we don't mention on the podcast, things that are happening personal and behind
life
the scenes.
Happens, yeah.
And weirdly enough, I'm actually abiding to Edward's viewpoint, whereby I'm not exciting myself about it because it's not set in stone, or what it is that I'm speaking about. Until that happens, I'm choosing not to get excited about it, which has the converse effect of making me feel stuck. Because I can't get excited about it, I feel that I'm not looking. I don't feel that I can look forward to it because it's so uncertain, and that uncertainty, unfortunately, filters through to whether or not I can live in the present. And yeah, COVID hasn't helped things. It's actually made things quite difficult. I didn't think this was going to get quite in depth from this question perspective, but I have felt for a while, if I must be brutally honest, I felt a little bit stuck.
Yeah.
I felt that things are not moving in the way that I would have liked them to have moved or to move. And of course, this is no one's fault, not mine, least of all those around me. It's just the world on a grand scale.
Yeah.
COVID has put a lot of things behind, and as a result, I feel I've lost 2 years of what could have been something else.
Yeah.
It's been good in its own way as well. I'm not saying that it hasn't been good. I just mean, where I am now at this point in time is not where I envisioned myself 2 years ago, and that is COVID related, legitimately.
It's
and I'm not
literally.
Yeah, and I don't mean having caught it. I mean literally what it's done to the world and how it's impacted so many things. Anyway, I'm sure many people have similar stories. The
thing is, I feel like at least with something like this, things are slowly starting to get better now. And even though you were kind of stuck, and I think that's a good way of phrasing it, for 2 years, I do think, not that, obviously life is different now, but I think because of what happened, and that kind of shaped you now for the last 2 years into being a different person that you would have been. And I think in a way that is a good thing.
You know me to be someone who and I just had it at the tip of my tongue. It was right there, as somebody who, not I mean, I do live in a very positive way, right?
Yeah.
There we go. But I always
Excitable.
believe that things happen for a reason. That's it.
Yes.
Okay? I'm
Yeah.
a firm believer in that. And that's why I said that I don't necessarily regret the last 2 years. And I believe I've actually grown in many ways that I would not have had the opportunity to grow in if what happened didn't happen.
Yeah.
All right? So I do firmly believe in that things happen for a reason. And from those things, there's always something positive, even if you may not see it initially, but you will see it at a later stage. And I have been seeing a lot of these things that personally I've proven to myself that I maybe would have thought that I was incapable of, but I now realize that I'm more than capable of. And that does make me feel quite good for what the future holds.
Yeah.
You know, without revealing too much information.
Yeah.
So from a personal perspective, I am still excited. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't. The excitement is there. It's just I can't make myself fall. I can't embrace it just yet because it's still undefined because of the global situation. Now, you alluded to the global bit of it a little bit. And as much as I wish I didn't feel the same way, I rather unfortunately do. I do feel that in the next couple of decades, I say 3 or 4 decades, unless the world works together to actively combat climate change, we are going to see the effects firsthand. And I am personally worried for the generation that follows us in the sense of us and our children.
Yeah.
I feel the world is going to be very bleak going forward, whether that's the water crisis or, you know, food shortages, the changes in seasons and how that's going to impact just the way we live. I mean, we're already feeling it. Just this year, 2021, our summer has been pushed out by over a month and a half. Now,
gosh, it's a mess.
That doesn't seem like much, but that is devastating from a wildlife perspective, number one. And number two, also from a produce perspective, because things are not growing the way they should.
Exactly.
You know, so that's just now. And they're already talking about how the ice caps melting is actually influencing the crust of the earth. I don't know if you saw that. It's actually
no.
it's warping it. In other words, you know, we've always known that it would raise the oceans, right?
Yes.
So there's a new study which actually has determined that not only will it raise the oceans, but it's actually physically warping and changing the Earth's crust. Because, you know, the water's melting and it's being absorbed into it.
Wow.
And, you know, if you think about it, you're like, whoa, okay, actually, you know, like, oh, you know, I get that now, you know?
Yeah, like someone's going to drill into the middle of the earth and to get it kickstarted again or something, you know?
So, yeah, I don't want to be, I would love to hope and imagine that the billionaires are going to work together and solve climate change. But, you know, right now they're all more interested in going into space and using more resources to get there.
It's weird. Why are they interested in doing that?
Space, because that's the next frontier to commercialize and commoditize.
See, there we go. Commercialize. That's a good one.
But that's it, Ed. Think about it. Imagine you are able to provide somewhat low-cost tickets to the moon for a weekend and back. People are going to love it.
What is low cost in that regard?
Okay, well, right now we know that it's only available to billionaires at the moment, obviously.
Yeah, and their dick rockets.
Give it 2 decades, and you know, Musk's renewable rockets will maybe come down in price to the point where maybe it costs 20,000-30,000 rand a ticket. You know, I mean, that's maybe a business class ticket today.
Canada.
No, but you know, that's how things work, though. You know, economies of scale, and you know, the more people that are interested, and the cheaper the technology becomes to manufacture and produce, and to get there, the cheaper things inevitably become. So the future is bright, maybe from a perspective of fun, science, and space travel, but it is bleak if you are left on Earth.
Yeah. I'm getting some Elysium vibes from this.
But you know, for the longest time, especially the conspiracy theorists, they've all mentioned how Hollywood predicts the future. And we've seen things like Independence Day, not Independence, well, yes, for the aliens, but also Deep Impact, there's really old 90s movies. So who's to say there isn't something like that coming? Or alternatively, and this is, wow, I didn't realize we were going to speak about this kind of stuff. But anyway, one of the major ones apparently is a giant solar flare that will inevitably just happen without anybody even realizing or being able to stop it, and will just destroy all electronics on the planet.
How will it happen without us realizing, though? Because we can predict flares.
Because even if we could predict it, it wouldn't be quick enough to make changes on Earth to fix it. So
but
apparently,
the sun is 7 seconds away.
Apparently, Apparently, one is coming. Apparently, the last time we had one was in the 1920s, and now it's 100 years later, and they're saying that we're due for another one. So that could maybe be the biblical prophecy of the Earth being destroyed by fire.
I mean, maybe. Maybe.
But do you know what we have to look forward to at the very least? If we can't predict what's going to happen with the rings of fire, do you know what we can at least look forward to, Edward? By this time next week, I will be fully vaxxed, and so will Edward. So, and we'll also maybe have one or two other things to talk about, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you once again for our regulars for tuning in. I'm sure you can feel we're a little bit off this episode, and we do apologize. But either way, thank you for sticking with us. And here's hoping next week will be an even better episode. Yeah, it's been a difficult week, you guys. It's been a difficult week. We've actually had a lot of difficult weeks recently, and this one was just one of those difficult weeks. Anyway, okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Edward.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see you all next week. Cool. Bye.
Bye.